the internet today. So hopefully everything is gonna work out today, so without any problem. So we'll see. Okay, let me know if you see me okay, if there's any problem. So I'm gonna connect to multiple platforms again. I'm gonna connect to I believe like 13 platforms. I do have ability to connect a lot more at one time, but it is sometimes a little too hard on my computer, on my system. Okay, but anyway, so good morning. I see you, Paul. Thank you very much for waiting. There's multiple guys actually already joined the chat. I would really appreciate, it's always interesting, you know, to know where you're from, I mean watching from, and what is temperature like, because I'm in Florida, state of Florida, United States, and pretty much right now in April, you know, we're talking about in Fahrenheit, it's 85, 87, you know, it gets to 90s already. In Celsius, it's about 30 degrees Celsius. So I'm talking about plus 30 degrees. So it's pretty much like only few days in a year in Russia during summertime, but here it's pretty much always like this. Thank you very much for joining. Okay, today I'm gonna talk about a subject that I already mentioned before. It's about patterns and how to transfer those patterns pretty much on a piece of wood on your project. And I mean, easy way to explain it's, you know, I'm gonna just touch only one of the methods, but there's a multiple use. Okay, Paul from Washington, thank you very much for joining. Great. So, but anyway, let me give you an update on this project. I didn't do too much to it, but you still see there's a lot more development. And if you're part of my school, schoolofwoodcarving.com, so you will see actually step by step pretty much all of the development. But I've done some work right here. It's not done yet, but I've got like a molding a movement, like a crown molding almost movement, and I had to do that to be authentic to Venetian style. But now, why I've got that subject today, why actually I think this subject is a good subject to talk. All right, well, take a look right here. Okay, see, it's easy to transfer you know, you design on a piece of wood like that if it's just a flat, but my design goes all the way to the ceiling, and I still have to extend, I still have to glue, and there's going to be a higher actually, but there's a curvature. Okay, and I'm okay. I mean, I can take a pencil, let's say, and I can draw. I mean, I have no problem to just get to the piece of wood and draw whatever the movement I need to. So I have absolutely no problem with that. Okay, but some of you, it's actually one of the huge big challenges, how you transfer on a curved surface, or it's a curves inside, it's like a concave, but what about the convex, how you transfer that, because the measurement of course is going to be different, and how you do that. And not every one of you able to draw right on a piece of wood. I do that all the time pretty much, but like I said, not every one of you doing it. Okay, but that is actually the challenge, and one of the solutions, one of the many solutions. I shouldn't say it's only solution. There's a lots of different solutions to use plastic. I already talked about plastic or vinyl in another stream, and today I'm gonna say it again. Okay, please now let me know if you see me. Okay, if you see me on YouTube, if it works, just please introduce yourself, where you're from, and what is weather like. Okay, I would really appreciate. And let me see if Facebook is on, because yesterday I had a problem. For some reason, the stream was excellent topic. It was a great idea, actually, you know, the topic of the stream. But internet, I don't know what happened, but it gave me a problem with the sound and you know, the picture itself, the film itself. Okay, please forgive me. It's not up to me. I do have a good equipment, but the problem was just the internet. Okay, so I am actually getting ready to go up on the ceiling and fill this space. Okay, if you do want to see full development, you gotta be part of my school. Okay, because first of all, it takes hours and hours of work, and I'm filming almost every minute, and I'm posting it pretty much daily. Yesterday I posted this section how I develop. It's not done yet, but I posted development of molding, you know, and that's actually interesting topic also, because when you look at the ancient furniture, and some people would ask how in the world they did it. I mean, how is it possible? There's no molding plane because it tapers. You cannot use any molding tape, but you're really able to do if you know how to handle wood carving tools, you know, any types of moldings, any types of movements. But anyway, let's go back to my today's subject, and I named that how to transfer, you know, your pattern, wood carving pattern, you know, on a piece of wood, and that's what we're going to talk about. Paul from St. Lucie. I'm sorry, St. Lucie is Florida. Okay, you from Missouri. Okay, that's good. Okay, Eugene, good to see you. Okay, wow. Ireland, sunny. It's sunny always right here. It's like 360 days sunshine. Thank you very much, everyone. But the question number one. Okay, why would you actually use plastic, and what type of plastic you should use, and how you actually transfer your design? Okay, now let me show you my process. Well, first of all, what type of plastic am I using? Okay, so that is a roll of a plastic, and you know, if you go to like a hardware store in United States, you could go in a lumber yard, like a store like a Home Depot, Lowe's, Menards if you're up north, and you can buy that plastic. There's different options. You can go to a garden section and get garden plastic, okay, or you can go in a paint department or painters shopping and get just a drop cloth. Okay, just the plastic, just to check if it's clear enough. That is really important, that plastic is clear. But also, if I mean, like I understand there's the different countries and people watching from all over the world. You know, Celsius watching from Brazil. That is great. Okay, but for example, on Amazon. Okay, if you just Google or just search for plastic drop cloth, it's not expensive in all. It's just about $13. I mean, $13.50, and you can buy that. By the way, in the links below, okay, if you will look later in the description area, I placed some links to Amazon for the plastic I'm using, for markers I'm using. It's just a Sharpie, it's nothing special, for some simple pens, and also what type of pencils I prefer. And I prefer 8B. I mean 8B, which is really soft. Okay, great. I see people from Facebook. Diane, that is great. So thank you very much for joining. Like I said, there's multiple platforms. I would really appreciate if you can just participate in the chat. That way I'll know it's an interesting subject or not. But let me go back and I repeat myself. Let's say if I do have a challenging area like that, okay, and it's challenging. It goes uphill, all right, and you have to put the design, and you know, I mean, for me, for example, it's easy. It's easy. I can just draw, you know, in this space, and I have no problem to do that. But sometimes, even for myself, I do have a projects where I have to be really, really exact without any changing to the design. Okay, and I have to present to the client actually like an unfolded form, you know, going from let's say from this point all the way to the highest point on the ceiling, how it's going to be unfolded. Okay, and yes, I could use a 3D program, I mean, and I could render it. I can do it even, well, actually SketchUp is a little limited, but it's still possible to do in a SketchUp. And I really like Rhino. I use Rhino 6 a lot. You could do in another programs like Fusion 360, but I also understand not everyone has the ability to develop that in 3D and then print unfolded version. We all simple people, and there's a simple solution. By the way, in 17, 16, 15, 14, and even in a part of 20th century, we did not have any computers or any programs, software, applications to develop that. And it also takes time. I mean, for me to develop three-dimensional design on a computer takes almost the same, you know, if I would just carve that piece, okay? So, and plastic comes alone, all right? So what you do, whatever the section of my plastic, well, simple, with just the scissors, of course. I mean, you can use a knife, but you just cut that piece of plastic which you need, and for me, I need to determine the main movements. Let's say even if I'm not able to design right in place, I'm still able to do that on a plastic. Okay, let me show you the way. First of all, of course, you could use push pins to hold it if you need it, and if I'll find them. What I'm talking about, it's just those guys, okay, just the push pins, okay, to hold that right in place. And by using them, so you're able actually to hold in place that plastic, whatever, how big, how small you need, and it doesn't really matter. But for me, well, I don't want to use all of it. But see, it just creates the shape pretty much. It just creates the shape what I need to fill. All right. So I place my plastic, whatever the shape I need to fill, and it's not like for the development yet. But I really need to know, you know, the space I need to fill, and also I'm using as another tool. Just my Sharpies, okay? Those are colored Sharpies, and by the way, there's a link below I placed for the Amazon for those permanent Sharpies. So they really good for the plastic. They dry really quick, and they like permanent, like I said. I mean, I've done some sketches, preliminary sketches previously, you know, and they've done enough just in the same matter. Okay, so just the Sharpies. But let me get back to my plastic work. Okay, so what I need to determine my main lines, and I'm using, let's say, just a green Sharpie to determine boundary. That is going to be my boundary, and I know it's going to be the movement. Okay, so that is not the design. But also I know I want to get another movement going that direction. Okay, so that is going to be another movement. And I also know I need to fill this side just like that. Okay, so that is going to be my boundary. And of course, I'm looking at the upper part, and I need to know exactly approximately where it's supposed to stop. All right. So that is step number one, I would say. All right, that is a step number one. Then I would take this plastic, Oh, of course I have to take those push pins out. And I would, you know, just whatever, just place it on my desk. Place it on my desk, and I able to develop it. Okay, I'm able to develop it. Now I know exactly the boundaries of whatever I need to. But I can probably right away draw on a plastic, but I don't have to. And I also probably have to tell you a little story about why plastic is, for me, it's one of the wood carving tools. Okay, so this subject actually is about wood carving tools, and the plastic is a wood carving tool in arsenal. When I used to be at school, for the books and for the notepads, we had the same way, like you know, the book bags and so on. But by the time of college, we didn't have to have book bags or whatever. So we used just the plastic bags. We used plastic bags to carry all of our you know, college stuff, and also for the note books. So we used plastic wraps, and for me it was like a heaven, like a paradise, because I was able to use just a normal pen and just a draw, and I would just listen whatever the professor is supposed to say, and I would just draw on my you know, the plastic bags, and you know, on my notebooks, you know, just to develop some ideas. And I actually developed the skill of artistic skill. You could actually create beautiful stuff just on a plastic. Okay, so, and yes, I'm using right now just a normal ball pen, and there's a link actually to the cheap ones, but you can see, I mean, it just stays right there, so it's not smooshing anything, it's just stays right there. So you could use, well, this is little smooshing, it's not dry yet, but here it's dry. But the you know, the marker, the permanent markers actually stays without smooshing. That is good, it's actually better. So one way you could develop that idea, you could use actually pretty much just whatever the pen you have, and develop the movement. And let me actually do that. Let me do that. Okay, I'm not gonna do on a live stream all of the development, but I can do some of the development. And if you want to see the full development, you have to probably just log in on my school site and just watch. Okay, people, do you like it so far? Ben, I can see you. Thank you. Dave, I can see you on the Facebook. Stefan, I see you on the Facebook. That is good. Do you like it or not? I mean, just give me a thumbs up, please. That way I know you can hear me. Okay. But meantime, I'm gonna just you know, just to show you the idea how I work. Okay. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just draw something. Okay. If it's gonna be my middle line, which is gonna go underneath of this development, I know how I want to see my acanthus. All right, if I want to just draw my acanthus, there's going to be another division, and there's going to be another division underneath. So which means I can easily place you know, my divisions right there on acanthus, and here you go. That is my main idea. So I can pretty much take this chunk and transfer back. All right, and transfer back. So, but if you don't have that you know, ability, so you can always take whatever the drawing pad, and I'm using big drawing pads. Like, let me show that to you, for you would know exactly what I'm talking about. So I'm talking about like 18 by 24 or 19 by 24, actually in this case, pad designed for a sketch. All right, so that is just for the sketch, and I also placed the link below, and I can develop, and I like bigger ones. Okay, first of all, I'm saving some money. I mean, you could buy some cheaper ones, but I think bigger ones is better. But anyway, so you are, if you do have a paper, okay, and if you want to develop on a paper, so now you have ability to establish the boundary, you know, whatever you need to draw, and the way to transfer it. I mean, there's a couple ways. I mean, you could just push, and you're able to see it through, you know, just the area, or just the old way, you know, just to use a carbon paper and transfer it. Okay, whatever the lines you need to fill, whatever the boundary you need to work on, so you transfer it, and you know exactly what needs to be developed. Okay, you know exactly what needs to be developed. Okay, let me see if I transferred everything or not. Here you go, I did. Okay, so I know that way it's going to be exactly the same, you know, and it's going to just be the right measurement and so on. Let me read some chat. All right. Bernie is saying fantastic use of plastic. That is wonderful. I know, Bernie, but I'll tell you one more thing. Okay. Christina, you are saying you really appreciate the time you're taking to teach. Thank you very much for joining, Christina. But let me go back to work, and I'll explain what's next step. I'm gonna take it to my table, and I'm probably gonna just develop it a little bit right here. Okay, so that is just a boundary. That is just a boundary. And by the way, I'm gonna develop the real thing. You know, that is gonna be transferred. The beauty of this method, I know exactly the measurements. I'm not gonna be off, and I can unfold it, and I can present to the client pretty much, you know, how it's supposed to be in life. Okay, let me redraw those boundaries, and now I can actually fix whatever I need to fix, the main movements. And I'm using, by the way, I am using 8B pencil. Okay, so 8B pencil, it's an excellent pencil right here. And this brand is a little on expensive side, but I love that. Okay, so and that is a little softer. You gotta be careful to do that on the wood, because you can leave marks. Okay, I mean, I'm talking about that's gonna become dirty. But anyway, so you start development, the idea of whatever the acanthus development you want to be, and you want to be accurate. I can see already that I'm not accurate to the Venetian period, because this part of Venetian acanthus, it's got to be almost like a ball, okay, like a round, like this. Okay, so that is going to be my correct boundary, and that is going to be also like a round. That is really important if you know a little bit about Venetian style Italian. There's different acanthuses, of course, and then I can develop whatever the divisions I want to develop. Okay, so I'll know exactly what is going on. That is going to be my middle line. I know there's going to be an eye. There's going to be an eye, which are going to be a part of this movement, and there's going to be another eye. It's going to be a part of this movement, and here you go. I mean, you can already see a development of acanthus. But again, that is not the goal to teach you how to draw acanthus. Okay, so that is not the goal of today's whatever the live stream. By the way, how is the sound and how is the picture? Yesterday I had a problem with internet, and it was almost impossible to watch. Maybe it was okay while, but later on it wasn't. Okay, so the next step, what I would do, I would take the same plastic what I had before, And usually, I mean, you wouldn't see the black marker. I just developed with the black marker. But the beauty of this method, you could take a different color. You can take a different color and you'll know that that would be accurate. Okay, so that would be accurate. So that is going to be, oops, I just painted myself. And you trace it, okay, whatever the right design you're supposed to have. So I placed my hand too early, but anyway, once it's dry, you can see you don't have to smooth, you know, just to smoosh it or anything. It's going to be there. But what's next? What's next? Okay, so the next would be, you know, just to take that plastic. And I know it's matching this curvature, and place it in the right position, whatever the position it's supposed to be. Again, take a push pins, same push pins, and by the way, it's really important not to damage the area with the push pins. Just try to find the position for the push pins, the right position for the push pins. Okay, I have to match my curvature. And then, again, just the old carbon paper. By the way, I'm gonna probably, I forgot to give you a link for the carbon paper. I'll, after stream, I'll just provide that carbon paper link. But anyway, you just place it, and again, you just use just a normal ball pen, really cheap one. You don't have to get expensive stuff. It's also a wood carving tool, and transfer it to piece of wood. Okay, so that's how you do that. All right. So another way, why you're using plastic. Let's say I developed this area. And it's pointing that direction. Okay. And that's a good thing. If you are a little knowledgeable about design, there is a law, there is a rule. Design supposed to have a law of repetition. Okay, so the one detail supposed to repeat itself in multiple spots, maybe different scale, but it's supposed to repeat. But what about if I want to take that detail and repeat, and but it's supposed to point opposite direction? If it would be just a piece of paper like this, you know, it's almost impossible to flip it. You have to redraw everything because other side is absolutely clean. But with the plastic, on the other hand, so all you do, you just flip it, and here you go. You see through. And there's a other direction, and you can just do that. That is also really good for development of like a family crests and stuff like this. So you just draw on one side, and then flip it, and you can see both sides. Let me take out, and I'll explain what I mean by that. Okay. So, for example, you've got one side. And you flip it, all right, and you use the same marker, pretty much, whatever the middle line is supposed to be, whatever the thing's supposed to meet, and again, you just redraw opposite direction, and all of your movements, and I'm doing that quickly just to, you know, for the sake of explanation, all right, but here you go. So you've got that already like double-sided. And now what you can do, you can take it back, whatever, and you can see it just repeats on its own, okay? And you can use that trick anywhere, you know, just on any design, like for the mantles, for hoods, and so on. Just to draw one side, if it's supposed to repeat on another side, that actually saves you like a half of a time, all right? Saves you half of the time. If you draw on the plastic. Second way, what you can do. Let's say if you do have already, just some sketches you've done, and those are sketches. Just one evening I just was bored, and I just took a pencil and sketched some of the stuff, some of the movements, and I kept them. All right, and I kept them. I like the design, I mean the movements and so on, and someday I want to use it. All right, and someday I want to use it. So there's a couple ways I could use. Again, simple plastic. Okay, you can draw right in scale. I mean, I'm talking about size wise. Put it on a piece of paper. Again, you can actually, if you do have a fine point, okay, let me use black. If you do have a fine point, oh, this black is not good, get better. Okay, here's going to be my middle line, and again, I can do only one side, and just whatever, trace it, my own design, of course, just trace whatever, and then fold that, and that's going to be two sides. That's why sometimes it makes sense just to do one side and transfer it to the plastic. If you need to do just a scale up or scale down, you can draw pretty much in any scale any of the designs. Nowadays it's so easy. So what you could do, you could actually take a picture, just even just on the phone, just use your phone just to take a picture, email it to yourself, and just nowadays you can actually enlarge your screen and place your plastic right on the screen if you wish. Okay, right on the screen if you wish. You can do it actually on a computer. You can do on any tablet. All right. So, for example, you've got your tablet. You place your plastic. I mean, whatever you just enlarged, whatever the detail you need, place it. And just because you don't push too hard, I wouldn't use a ball pen in this case. I could just trace whatever I need to. Okay, just from just a screen. Okay, just from screen. All right, if I just drew myself. But also, another thing which you could do, if let's say I do have a book, really nice book right here. Okay, so this is ornamental design prints. It's an old book, but it's authentic. Some designs and stuff like this. You can find beautiful movements and ideas right there. So you can actually just find whatever the detail you like. Let's say there's your acanthus leaf and you want to utilize that, use it on a piece of furniture. Put the plastic over, okay? And again, you can use a fine marker, and just trace it, okay? Whatever you need to, okay? Just from any book, pretty much, trace it. And again, the question of scale, just make a picture of it, send it to yourself, enlarge it, and use another piece of plastic, and transfer to your design, okay? Transfer to your piece of wood you're working on. So I think it should answer your questions, okay? So I hope you like it so far. Just if you like it, again, give me thumbs up, please. Really appreciate. Okay. So let me show you again. My work. And if you do have a question, I would really appreciate. Okay. So the subject so far or not? Let me check also Instagram meantime. There's multiple people on Instagram saying hello from Istanbul, Turkey. A lot of people from different countries. I really do appreciate you people. All right. Any questions on Facebook, on YouTube? and so on. So now, I mean, we can get off this subject and probably just get to whatever the question you want to. Okay, so it's not going to be long stream today. I'm not planning to do long streams because, first of all, I really need to get back to work because, you know, I don't want to get behind. I don't want to get behind. Yeah, the plastic is usable. Yes, Rudy. Thank you very much for you know, saying that. Really good with the plastic. It's I know it's you know, really, you know, simple, but a lot of people didn't think about it. Okay, I know for a fact because lots of people didn't think about that in all. And the plastic is cheap. Like I said, I placed the links in descriptions. You can like $13, and it's gonna last you, I don't know for how long. You know, it's a big chunk, and it's one of the probably most useful tool in wood carving. Like I said, you can use plastic on concave movements like this, or even convex if you are a furniture maker and if you're doing a queen N leg. Okay, and if you want to place acanthus on a queen, and you know, just what do? You just use a plastic again. You use a plastic and just transfer it. Okay. David is asking, what if you have no drawing ability? Is it okay to copy someone else's work? David, that is absolutely one of the best questions you could ask, and I'm glad actually you asked me. You know, first of all, I don't like the idea of copyright. I do like it to a certain degree. I mean, I like when people present work and mention that is not their design. If they copy someone else's work, that is okay. So, but how else will you learn if you're not going to be copying? Of course, it's not too many people who actually able to draw. Although personally, I believe you can learn to draw if you know some laws, some rules. It's actually not that complicated. Okay, it's not that complicated. So you can learn to draw. All you do, you just actually train your hands and your movements in the right position, how you draw and so on. But the question is, is it okay to, you know, just a copy? Absolutely yes. Okay, so you look at someone else's work and you just copy whatever the movements they use, and that way you will understand the logic behind of that artist or, you know, the furniture maker. I think it's not only okay, it's a must. And my school, let's say, online school of wood carving, I do provide downloadable links to my patterns, and when people download it, they're able to carve it, and they actually submit the pictures to me, and I give a certification for the carving itself. What they do, they copy. Okay, they copy my designs, and I'm not only okay with that, I actually encourage. That way you will understand. It's actually my teacher who first told me that. He said to me, you really have to study, you know, old work, especially if you really want to work in a Baroque style and Rococo style. So you really have to look at that work. Of course, when he was teaching me, it was locked down, you know, country. If you think you locked down right now, I mean, we grew up in the Soviet Union. The whole country was on lockdown. Okay, we couldn't travel anywhere. All we could just study some pictures in some of the books. And if you're able to spend some money, go to St. Petersburg and just go to Hermitage and study the work. It's actually excellent representation of ancient work and you know, mid ages and so on. There's a lot of different expositions. So and he would encourage me, study, draw, and carve. Study, draw, and carve. Again, repeat what you already studied, draw it, and carve. That my teacher would say to me. Otherwise, I'm not. I mean, think about the development of even acanthus leaf. Think about that, okay? If you go to Turkey in ancient, not the ancient, but like 2000 old buildings. It is ancient, I guess, right? 2000. I think 2000 years. It's ancient. And you look at the acanthus. It looks different if you would go to Rome. Okay, if you go to Rome and look like a 2500 years, some sculptures and so on, and some columns, they look different. And if you go to, you know, just in Greece and look at development of acanthus right there, it's different from Roman acanthus. Okay, if you go to European countries, so like even Morocco, okay, they also use acanthus leaf. They have acanthuses, but they develop their own. But they've got idea from somewhere. Okay, they traveled and they looked at some of the work and they brought that home and they developed their own flavor of acanthus leaf. Even if you go to 10th century Norway, we're talking about Norman, okay, people, Vikings. So they used some acanthus movements on their boats. How did they even know that idea without traveling far and getting the idea and copy it, or try the best to copy it, because all they had is pretty much just a knife and axe. But they did a really great job actually with the knife and axe, you know, in wood carving. So absolutely, I think it's not only okay to copy, it's the only way to learn and develop some more, okay? And develop some more, okay? So, for example, I'm not copying, but even this piece I'm working on, it's just one section, by the way. It's only one section of multiple pieces. It's going to be the whole room. And if you want to see the full development of the whole room, it's going to be, you know, there's going to be corbels on the sides yet, and there's going to be walls going around and so on. So you got to be a part of my school. That way you will see it, okay, the development. So I'm not going to post the whole process right here. So, but the idea behind what I'm trying to say, yes, I developed the design, I did, but I do have to be authentic to original Venetian design, and not only Venetian design, specific to 15th, 16th century, specific actually to second part of 15th century and the beginning of 16th century. The way they did acanthuses, the way they created concaves and convexes and so on, the movements, the head developments. This is the head of acanthus. You know, the scrolls or volutes, if you wish, you know, how they twist them, because there's different twists. Incorporation, the twists like this, when acanthus moves on its own, it's got to be authentic to Venetian style, okay? Because some really big architects look at it and they should say if it's okay or not. For common people, for just the normal people, you know, it doesn't make a big difference, but for the architects who are really picky about the authenticity, to be authentic, it's really important. What tools you're using, the movements you're using, you know, even finish, okay? If you go to northern countries like, let's say, in England, UK, Great Britain, I should say, because it is great, it's a great culture, you know. They never use any sandpaper or any you know, any other sanding techniques. They use auto chisel finish, okay? So that's what they do. Let's say if you go to South Europe, like in Italy, oh man, they just smooth everything because they treat wood same like marble, and they carved marble before they carved wood. And everything's supposed to be really smooth, Okay, everything is supposed to be really sanded and smooth. It takes longer, by the way, and sometimes it's impossible to sand. I don't. Okay, I did not sand it. Okay, don't get me wrong. Okay, but Italians, especially from Rome, okay, not northern Italy. Even in Italy, it's different cultures. Rome, I would say, it's supposed to be really smooth. In northern parts, no, it's not as much. In northern parts, it's closer to, whatever, the German style carving and French style carving. It's also developing a little different. Let me read some chat. Okay. Ben is saying I should wash my hands. Did you say that to me? They clean, Ben. Okay. All right. Let me read. Eugene is saying Mary May has a great book on acanthus. I know Mary May personally. We communicate, we talk, we chat sometimes, but I did not read her book on acanthus. Okay, the way I study acanthus, it's a little different. Okay, I'm actually prefer my preferred method to find the old work, and one of my favorite books, it's How to Draw Acanthus. Okay, it's an old one. It's a university book, and it gives the ability. Okay, let me tell you the limitations of any of the book, even the How to Draw Acanthus university work. Okay, the limitation is a time period. Okay, what type of acanthus this book is talking about? There's hundreds and hundreds of different acanthuses. Let's say if you look at the ancient acanthus, it's supposed to have a V-cut on the inside of the leaf. If you look at the Roman acanthus, it's supposed to have a concave on the inside of the leaf. If you look on Byzantine, it's supposed to have a concave, convex, concave. Okay, Byzantine. If you look early Italian, I'm not talking about Roman Empire because it's already past, but Roman Christian Empire after Byzantine. So it's supposed to have a convex, concave, convex, concave, convex in a section cut. Okay, and if you look in the French, it's supposed to have a concave, concave, concave. And which acanthus leaf those books are writing about. The best book, I would say, it's not the book itself, but if it's possible to go to those palaces and to those ancient places and study. If it's not possible to go, just go online. Nowadays on Pinterest, you can find all of the ancient pictures. And you can see those books not even going to be able to show you everything. What acanthus we're talking about? Okay, if you just go to China, they also like acanthus movement, and they carved that acanthus a long time. But it's absolutely different acanthus. In Mongolia, it's absolutely different acanthus. In Russia, it's different acanthus. Although Russian acanthus is close to Byzantine because inherited from a Greek Orthodox Church. So but they developed even more techniques. In every culture is different acanthus. My opinion is there's absolutely no book yet, which covers the full range of acanthus. Someone asked me to write the book, but I really, first of all, I have some limitations. First of all, I have to work. I still carve for a living, okay? So I don't have time for writing a book. Secondly, I think maybe nowadays it is possible for me to film step by step. And I already started actually online in my school from most ancient type of acanthus. We did Corinthian, Corinth, if you wish, acanthus leaf. We did Greek acanthus leaf. We did Roman acanthus leaf. Byzantine acanthus leaf is coming up, and let me see if I'm having it. Well, actually, let me show you right here. Okay, this movement right here. Okay, this movement. It was inherited from Byzantine. Okay, it was inherited from Byzantine. All right. So what I'm talking about, the Byzantine acanthus leaf supposed to have a gold leaf, and they have a really deep excavations on inside. Here is also the same thing. And Byzantine was early development of head movement like this. Okay, but Byzantine, on the other hand, adapted from a Greek Empire the movement like that. Okay, so it wasn't Byzantine invention. So that was just the volute. That is a volute. That is a volute. And that was actually in the history before the Byzantine development. So they all adapted from each other. And what I'm planning to, the next acanthus would be either development of Byzantine, and the way they did it actually, how they gold leafed on inside. Right now, this is made from solid piece, and you can't place any gold leafing on the side, but on Byzantine style you are able. Okay, so I'm gonna do that. Or maybe I'm gonna do also Moroccan. It's coming up. It's coming up. But first I have to take care of you know, ongoing projects. Okay, do you like it so far, people? Okay, give me a thumbs up, please. Give me a thumbs up. And if you still not part of my school, I really encourage you to join. Okay, at least just check it out. Okay, it's $20 a month, and if you don't like it, no strings attached. You not marry me. Although most of the people, you know, the majority of the people staying, you know, signed up pretty much all the time, because it's not actually a school. It's more like a community, I would say. And I would just invite you to my shop, and you watch me working. Even on this piece, you can see how I develop those heads. You know, how I get really deep excavations and so on. It's all there. It's all there. Okay. If you did not subscribe yet, if you're watching me on YouTube, please hit that like button and subscribe it. Don't forget to hit that bell, and make sure you get all the notifications. That way you're not gonna miss my, you know, the live streams and so on. If of course you like it, and I hope you do. And I hope you do. Again, just for those of you who don't know me personally, let me introduce myself. I'm Alexander Grabovetskiy, and I'm a woodcarver. I was born in Soviet Union. It was just one big country. Right now, the part I was born, it was it is Russia pretty much. But I moved to United States a long time ago as a refugee. Pretty much, I escaped. All right. So. Ask me questions even after that stream. Important for me to know what is the questions. I mean, what are the questions in wood carving world? Okay, I need to know what is a challenge. I mean, what challenges, what problems would people have while they're carving and so on. Ask me about wood carving itself, ask me about design, ask me about sharpening. I'm okay with that. And the next stream I'm gonna start on one of the questions, and on the best question, I would say, because I'm getting multiple questions, but on the best question I'm gonna base my next stream. Okay, so please ask me even here. Okay, now one of the questions: have you carved many green men? No. Okay, I look like one. I don't need to carve another one. Okay, so if you look at my hair, especially nowadays, we all locked down. We can't walk outside because of that virus going on, and that's really strict right now in Florida, and especially in a Palm Beach County I live. You can't walk outside without face mask. One lady was walking actually without face mask and she was arrested. Okay, I don't know what the development of the story is, but anyway, so like, but you know, right now it's a lockdown in Florida. Okay, wonderful. So what I'm saying, you know, you can see my hair growing back again, and it's not on purpose. I'm gonna go to the barber shop, but unfortunately it's closed. Okay, so you can't go anywhere, and I don't want to cut myself. I'm gonna butcher it. I used to have a long hair. If you are part of my school, you'll see that when I was carving lion, I had really long hair. Okay, I had to match the theme. Okay, I had to be a lion. A lion carves a lion. Okay, let me see other questions. Meantime, you just look at that development. Okay, there's a question. I believe you're from India, right? Design versus grains. Transferring design, please comment. Design versus grains. Okay, that is an excellent question actually. Wood has a grain, and it all depends, if I'm correct, it all depends what type of wood you carve. Why I love lime wood? Why do I love basswood, linden wood? That's the same wood, by the way. It's the same wood because it doesn't show grain, and I can do any type of movements, anything, and my grain or grain of the wood does not destruct. Okay, let's say if you are carving walnut. Okay, here's one of the projects for school we're working on. It's a low relief furniture panel. It's an 18th century authentic design, really low relief. Some spots it's less than 1/32 of an inch, less than millimeter actually. Right here, for example, there's a less than millimeter, and we're still working on it. Okay, a walnut doesn't have a grain too pronounced also. If it's an American black walnut, if it's a European walnut, you can see all the variations of the colors from a really white, yellow, to really dark brown. Okay, so it would be European walnut. But on a walnut, I still don't worry about design movements and stuff like this. But I have to be mindful if I'm carving an oak, okay, and if I'm carving on pine, although I don't like to carve on a pine because all of the, you know, the grain really visible and it destructs. Yes, you have to figure out the movements of your carving for two reasons. One reason, how it's gonna be played together with the grain, you know, those lines. So that's how you position. And also, it also depends on what tools you have, if it's sharp or not. Okay, if you do have a sharp tools, really doesn't matter. I mean, you can go against the grain, along the grain. You know, you're not gonna split. You're not gonna make big mistake. Okay, so that is actually also a good idea to have your tools really sharp. So then you don't worry. But if you don't have ability to sharpen your tools all the time, and but you still have to do some beautiful stuff, then you have to be mindful of the grain. I hope it answers the question. And you are saying you are university teacher. That is great. That is great. Okay, let me read some more. Stefan from California, thank you very much. Thank you very much for that really good comment. Also, wonderful people, I would really appreciate a live chat is great, but if you can also place a comment below later, just a comment, normal comment, that way, you know, nowadays algorithm of YouTube and Google changed, and for SEO, search engine optimization, it's really important for those comments below. I really appreciate if you can do that. So just a comment about today's topic. Okay, and if you come up with some question, comment below, not only in the live chat but also comment below. Okay, really important. I think it's really important. Okay, thank you very much. I'm gonna finish right now. Stay safe, hashtag stay home if in your country and in your place is low not to go outside. Stay safe. It's really important to stay safe. Okay, just because of that global pandemic and so on, or in some cases it's more global panic than pandemic. It's still, I mean, you still gotta be safe. Please like it, subscribe it if you're not yet, and hit that bell. And I would really appreciate if you can share it. Okay, if you can share that. The ways you can share, if you on Facebook watching me, you can just hit the share button and just share it on your profile, or maybe to a group. If you are a part of a group like a woodworking group, a wood carving group, I would really appreciate. And if you're watching me on YouTube, it's actually even easier. You can hit that share, copy that link, okay? Copy that link, go on a Facebook and share that link to your profile or any of the pages. And also you can just share directly to Reddit and so on. I would really appreciate if you would let people know, because I do have some emails, and I know, I mean, I should have probably do those live streams long before, and believe you or not, I was ready for it a year ago. I was just super busy, and I'm still super busy. I just kind of postponed that, and I should do that before. Again, do you like it, those live streams? If yes, please give me thumbs up, okay? Thank you very much.